Alright, we're back. Another update. We got the water pump on. Starting to run the hoses. I do have to get a U-turn for the heater hose to bypass the heater core because I'm not getting into that right now. Clearly my my rooster is awake as well. So starting to work on getting all that stuff lined up. Yes, the old radiator's in there. That's part of the flushing I'm going to be doing. But right now, this is going to be the focus of either this video or an upcoming video. Right now we're going to transition on to this. You can see it needs to be cleaned up, but what you can't see is these hoses, as they should be, are pretty much shot. You bend it, you can see it's got some dry rot in there. Not the easiest part to find new so far, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work on cutting the ends off, flaring it if I need to, and then just getting some coolant line and getting some coolant line and some clamps and getting it back together. You could probably see a little bit of there, but that's what runs like that out of the surge tank and then into this bad boy right here. So obviously this line is the worst because it's got the most heat coming over it, followed by these and these. You'll see I got the crazy crimped clamp and the rubber hose off of here and there so far, and I'm doing it with a multi-tool. So I'm taking the multi-tool very carefully, obviously, and you want to cut two lines. You want to cut one on one side and one as close as you can on the opposite side, and that allows you to basically break the crimp of the clamp. I tried just one side. It's hard because you're not able to really get the force you need, and then just twist it a little bit, and that's what you get. And what I like about this is it's going to have a little stop there. It's already flared. Instead of just cutting it, which you'd be starting there, and then everything would be buttoned up, this is going to give you a little bit of a more professional, planned out, not patched together look. And you can see these lines are disgusting, so I'll be cleaning them. But yeah, just taking the multi-tool very carefully. It is aluminum. You don't want to go apply too much pressure, and just cut, you know, about here and side to side if you can. If not, like one of them I cut about here and one about here, just where I could get it to really stay. Other tip for starting it so it's not going zzz, you know, and start here on this lip and allow it to kind of dig into the rubber a little bit, and then lay it flat. So kind of, you know, start at an angle and then slowly flatten it out. All right, so we're going to work on the T that goes into the radiator. Starting to get a little groove in there now. All right, so there's one pretty much cut. I got to get this here a little bit better. Now we're going to flip it over. All right, now I'm just going to take a pair of needle nose, twist a little bit, make sure we're good. Then I'm going to start to probably need to cut this a little bit more. I see it's, oh, I think we're good. Yeah, see, now it's starting to come apart. There's one side. The other side's just going to come off now. And there you have it. That's going to look nice. I'm going to clean these all up, polish them. I've got some Neverdull, so I'm going to polish these up. But that's where we're at with these. Lines are fine. It's just these are 30-year-old rubber hoses. This one's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get to. Look at that. That's what's in my cooling system. That's why we're putting it back together, to get it a high heat, get a high heat flush going. All right, let's get back to this. Starting on the rubber, I'm able to get a bit more of a grip on it rather than just kind of shooting side to side. other side. All right, I'm going to try and break this one apart. This is a really difficult one to get. There we go. That piece off. And this should just pull apart, but like I said before, it's not the easiest piece to work on. Man, this rubber is definitely, there we go, glued on it. Right, there we go. So we got the T out. I do believe it's supposed to be bent that way. If not, we'll have to figure that out. I'm going to clean it up, inspect it, make sure I didn't screw anything up, run some water through it. But that's one piece. So you'll see here, I just got to get the other end of that. Picking back up on this one, you can see it's completely cut. I'm trying to get it off there, but you bend it hard enough you can get it off. And get that one off. And again, look at how nasty that is in there. There's a little, looks like a restrictor. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, there you are. This is the one that goes into the radiator. It's that T. Or out of the radiator, whichever it might be. It's that T, so I'm going to clean that up really good. I feel like I got a little too close here. I'm hoping that that doesn't create a problem. Try and pry this one apart. Yep, see, this is, the other ones would not break apart as easily. For this, it's just coming off. I just want to inspect, make sure that, yeah, see, I nicked it a little bit. So I'm going to have to be careful of that. That one I'm going to have to be very careful of. I'm going to clean that up and see. Doesn't look like it made it through, but obviously not ideal. A little disappointed in that one. All right, here's hoping this other one goes well. Last one. All right, I didn't get as close on that one on purpose. Let's see if I can break it apart. I just got too comfortable on that last one. I got a little too close. Yep, that's the one I was able to pull apart. Now this is the lower. And alright, well that makes me feel a little better. So the one that I did nick a little bit just goes to the overflow. I feel a lot better about that. I'm just going to fight that off. And then here we go. That thing is stuck on there. Good. And again, look at how nasty that is. Let me see if I can get some focus. Here we go. But there you go. I was able to successfully remove all those compression fittings without having to cut short, flare, and look, I'm glad that I did do it this way, because if you're just going to cut them, if you're looking to do this because you can't find one of these, and I'll see if I can find the part number and what it's actually called. But if you can't find one of these, and if I were to just cut this there, or you were to cut it there, that's got a little pinhole in there where none of these do. Given the function of this, it's definitely something you want to keep in mind. Remember, this is where it tees off in order to send that water coolant into the that top little nub on the radiator, and then into your throttle body. Obviously some pressure going through there, just restricting it. So I'm no expert, but I would say let's not cut that there if you don't need to. Use the method I did, multi-tool from Harbor Freight, And looking at this versus the others, this one I also noticed is the only one that's got a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a spot weld, but there's some sort of crimp in there that I've noticed I've not seen on any of the others. Now my rooster is just going. Yeah, so there you go. That is how to successfully remove the factory crimps and hoses from your overflow and your throttle body line. It'd be great to find this video so you don't just go cutting them. I was going to cut and flare, and I mean, if you think about it, it would be essentially, you'd be right there at that bend if you want to have enough room to get a clamp on, maybe a little shy of it. But on that one, not a big deal. But as you get into, you know, some of these smaller ones, it's going to be right up there. You're losing a lot of material. You're losing 50% on this tee of material alone. So something to keep in mind. Get yourself a multi-tool and a lot of patience. Also, while you're there, get a vise. Don't do it how I did it. Luckily, I still got all my fingers, but it was a little hairy at times. So there you have it. We're going to soak these. We're going to get them nice and clean so they flow freely. And then we're going to go get some hose, some clamps, and we're going to get this all back. I mean, look, that literally, boom. That's what it's going to look like with new hose. I just rinsed these out. You can see they look a heck of a lot better. Filled them up with degreaser, actually. I didn't want to leave any Dawn remnants in there the more I thought about it, so I used some degreaser. And if you recall, I was talking about the, man, it's hard to see in this one, the, that little, there we are, that right there. The minute I put water through this, it came out at a high pressure. So that's actually, if you didn't know, I didn't. I assumed it was restricting something, but it's restricting flow, but it's adding some pressure at the same time. So it comes out, I mean, loosely, just putting the hose on the end here with a bit of an adapter I've been using. That shot 10 feet in the air. You know, might have got a little bit of water out of that one. Obviously, a good flow, but it wasn't as focused and high pressure. And this is the one that is going to connect over to that, and then ultimately into that, your throttle body. So again, do not cut that off if you can help it. It clearly is serving a purpose. So now we're going to get these things cleaned and polished up. A little bit of funk right there, but all in all, very happy with the progress made so far on this. So it's going to go like that. I do have some 3000 grit sandpaper, and that I suppose I could see what this does. Let's clean it up a little bit. Let's give it a little shine. That aluminum definitely needs. I like some of that aluminum right here. And you just run it some 3000 over it. See, it's helping a little bit. Definitely not show quality. Oh yeah, 600. You can hear it working. Let me see what it does over here. See, getting a little bit of shine out of it. Nothing amazing. Still some oxidation on the aluminum. But we got one piece good, and we're going to work on the others. Gentle with the 240 here. So I'm going to have to work my way up and get it smoothed out so there's no scratches, but the 240 looks like it's going to work for these areas. You'll see I started kind of dry fitting it together in the car. Excuse me, in the car. Sorry, it goes like this. But I've got some new hose. I cleaned it up, polished it as best I can. It's got a good little shine to it. GM decided that they were going to run hot coolant through the throttle body, so in the colder climates, the throttle body heats up, car runs better, yada, yada, yada. However, I'm in Florida. I don't drive it early in the morning, even in the winter, and I use the term winter lightly because, you know, it might get into the 30s, and I'll tell you what now, I don't have heat in this thing, so I'm not taking it out anyway. You know, this is a cool morning, evening car in the cold, and, you know, honestly, same in the summer. It's not, I'm not taking out the heat of the day unless I'm going to or from a car show, and that's about it. So I'm going to bypass that, which will supposedly make it a little snappier and give you a little bit more throttle response is what I hear. The benefits of bypassing it is a couple things. One, the inlet on the throttle body is all eaten up, so I'd have to replace that eventually anyway. That's number one. Number two is, if you think about it, you're running hot coolant through the throttle body, which is getting air, and the cooler the air, the more performance you're going to get. So by doing this, it makes sense you get a little extra snap on the throttle. So not that it's going to be a true cold air, but it's going to be cooler air. So we're going to get this thing buttoned up, get all new clamps on everything here, and we'll get it fit back in the car and be good to go. Clamps are ugly. I'm going to have to figure that piece out. But remember, I'm just flushing the cooling system right now. So it doesn't bother me as much that they're ugly. I'll find some better ones. I ended up going back through the throttle body. Again, that's temporary because I'm going to actually be bypassing the throttle body and not feeding hot water into it. Instead, we're going to feed it. This right here comes out of the throttle body, so it kind of goes in, boom, through it, and then out there. Then there's a metal line that runs underneath all this. So I'm going to have to get this out of the way. That needs to be replaced anyway. So I'm just going to run from here over to there, make it look clean. What I did not plan on was having to epoxy this and hope that it holds. I put a bolt at the end there to hopefully seal this up, because that little nub broke off. Again, old garbage radiator, it doesn't matter. It's just a bit frustrating that now I got to worry about epoxy. But it looks like it's dried. I'm gonna let it dry. I still can't fill this with water because, man, allergies. I need to remember, I'm bypassing the heater core, and sure, it'd be great if this would just go right in there, but it ain't gonna fit. So I need to get a U-turn and then the right size hose. It goes up to, I think, like a 1-inch. I'm gonna look and see, because this is the same size on that lower hose. So I'm gonna go through Rock Auto. Worst case, I'll just buy another one of those, and I will just connect it right here where this is connected here. I'll pull that off and I'll put one of these on if I can get it to fit right. So I'm gonna do some research on that piece. But outside of that, we've got everything buttoned up. That connected again. I do have to put these little 7mm back in to hold this in place properly. I need both hands for that. So I'm gonna spend some time working on that really quick. We're getting closer and closer to being able to fill this thing up with water, get it to temp, flush it, fill it up, get it to temp, flush it. Obviously, you know, burp it a little bit or a lot of it, so that way I don't have any air in the line and I can just get a good flush going. But we're getting close. Gonna wrap it up for this video. With that, we'll close it up. I like that bed, it clears everything well. And I'm going to jump online and see what my best plan of attack is to connect this heater feed into that, so I can get that done. Go ahead, hit that bell, subscribe, drop me some comments. You want to hit a like, that goes a long way to just helping the channel grow and helping this video see more people. And we'll see you on the next one.